The night sky above the alien city was dark and endless. Tall crystal towers cut through the clouds like sharp blades. Lights flickered far below, but up here, on the highest tower, everything felt silent and cold. An alien girl stood at the edge. Her feet were only inches away from nothing. The wind pulled at her long silver hair, making it dance behind her like it wanted to drag her forward. Her skin was pale blue, marked with faint glowing lines that showed her race. But tonight, those lines were dim, almost dead. She looked down. The city was so far below that it looked unreal, like a picture instead of a place. One step forward, and it would all be over. No more pain. No more shame. No more voices telling her she was worthless. Her hands shook. She had tried to be strong. She really had. But strength was everything in her world, and she had none left. She had failed the trials, failed her family, failed her people. In her society, failure was not forgiven. It was erased. Tears filled her eyes, but she did not wipe them away. What was the point? No one would see them. No one cared. She took a slow breath. This is it, she whispered to herself. She leaned forward, letting her toes hang over the edge. Her heart pounded so loudly that it hurt. Her mind screamed at her to stop, but she was tired. So tired. Then, a voice spoke behind her. Please don't jump. The words were calm, quiet, not shouted, not rushed. Her body froze. No one ever came here. This tower was forbidden. She had made sure of that. Slowly, her heart beating faster now, she turned her head. A human stood several steps behind her. He was small compared to her kind. No armor, no weapons in his hands, just simple clothes and tired eyes. Brown hair, messy from the wind. He looked fragile, like one strong push could break him. Humans were weak. Everyone knew that. What are you doing here? She asked, her voice sharp but shaking. The human raised his hand slightly, showing he meant no harm. He did not move closer. I followed you, he said. I thought you might need someone. She let out a bitter laugh. You followed me. To stop me? Why? He was silent for a moment. The wind howled between them. Then he said, because I know that look. Her eyes narrowed. You don't know anything about me. No, he replied softly. But I know what it looks like when someone believes the world would be better without them. Her breath caught. That was exactly how she felt. Go away, she said. This does not concern you, human. He did not leave. Instead, he took one slow step closer, still keeping a safe distance from the edge. If you jump, he said, the universe loses something it cannot replace. Her hands clenched. I am replaceable. My people say so every day. The human shook his head. They are wrong. She turned fully toward him now, anger flashing in her eyes. You don't understand my world. I am defective, weak. I failed the strength trials. My family cast me out. My name was erased from their records. She swallowed hard. In my world, she continued, the weak do not live long. The human listened. He did not interrupt. He did not look away. When she finished, he spoke again. On my world, humans fail all the time. She stared at him, confused. We are not the strongest, he said. We are not the fastest. We fall, we lose, we break. He took another careful step forward. But we get back up. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Why? He met her eyes. Because life is not about being perfect. It is about choosing to stay, even when it hurts. The words hit her harder than she expected. Her legs trembled. She stepped back from the edge without realizing it. I don't belong anywhere, she said. The human smiled sadly. Then maybe you haven't found the right place yet. Below them, distant sirens began to echo through the city. Alien patrols. Someone had noticed her absence. Fear flashed across her face. They will come for me, she said. They will finish what I started. The human looked past her, toward the city lights. His expression changed. It became firm. Serious. Then, he said, they will have to go through me first. She stared at him in shock. You are just a human, she said. He nodded. Yes. Then he added quietly, and humans are very hard to break. The sirens grew louder. And for the first time that night, the alien girl felt something she thought she had lost forever. Hope. The sirens grew louder. Red and blue lights moved between the towers far below, like angry eyes searching for something they wanted to erase. The alien girl stood frozen, her heart beating fast again, but this time, she did not move toward the edge. She looked at the human. You should leave, she said. They will punish you for being here. The human did not move. They punish everyone, he replied. Running does not change that. She frowned. Humans were supposed to panic. Humans were supposed to fear alien authority. Yet this one stood calm. His hands relaxed at his sides, his eyes steady. Why are you not afraid? She asked. He took a breath. I am afraid, but fear does not decide my actions. That answer confused her more than silence ever could. Wind grew stronger, pushing against them both. Her glowing lines flickered again, reacting to her rising emotions. She wrapped her arms around herself, suddenly feeling exposed. You don't know what they do to failures, she said quietly. They erase us, our names, our records, our memories. The human nodded. On Earth, we do not erase failures, he said. We learn from them. She shook her head slowly. Then your world is strange. Yes, he said, it is. For a moment, neither spoke. The sirens paused, then changed direction. The patrols were closer now. You saved me, she said suddenly, her voice low. Why? The human hesitated. Because someone once saved me, he said. She turned fully toward him. Who? He looked away, toward the dark sky above the city. Someone who spoke when I wanted silence forever. Her eyes widened slightly. You wanted to end your life? Yes, he answered simply. That shocked her more than anything else. You are alive, she said. Standing, speaking. He gave a small smile. Words can be stronger than blades. The sirens stopped. A heavy hum replaced them. Patrol. Drones rose between buildings, scanning rooftops. One of them turned to the tower. They found us, she whispered. The human stepped closer to her now, placing himself between her and the approaching lights, not touching her, but clearly choosing a side. Listen to me, he said. No matter what happens next, you do not step back to that edge. Her throat tightened. I don't know if I can be brave. You don't need to be brave, he replied. You just need to stay. The drone lights grew brighter. A loud mechanical voice echoed across the tower. Unregistered presence detected. Identify yourself. The alien girl froze again. Her instinct screamed at her to run, to jump, to disappear before judgment came. The human raised his voice. My name is Daniel, he said clearly. I am a human civilian. There was a pause. You are in a restricted zone, the voice replied. Step away from the edge. Daniel did not move. She is under my protection, he said. The alien girl stared at him in disbelief. Human, she whispered urgently. You cannot protect me. You are alone. Daniel glanced at her and spoke softly. I am not. The drones scanned him. Data streams flickered across their lights. Warning, the voice said. Humans have nitrogen monoxide authority here. Daniel nodded. That is true. He took a step forward. But we do have something you underestimate. The drone paused again. Explain. Daniel looked up at the sky, then back at the alien girl. Hope, he said. Her chest tightened. She did not understand why that simple word hurt so much. The drones hovered closer. The edge of the tower felt farther away now, like a past version of herself she barely recognized. Come with me, Daniel said quietly to her. Step away. She hesitated, then slowly moved closer to him. Her feet left the edge completely. The drones reacted immediately. Subject removed from termination position, the voice stated. Escort required. Alien enforcement ships appeared in the distance. She grabbed Daniel's arm without thinking. They will take me. Daniel looked down at her hand. He did not pull away. Then, he said, they will hear your story first. She looked up at him. They never listen. Daniel's eyes hardened not with anger, but with something deeper. Then it is time they learn why humans are still alive, he said, after everything the universe threw at us. The ships closed in, and somewhere deep inside her, something fragile but powerful began to grow. Not strength, not pride, but the will to live. The enforcement ships hovered above the tower like silent predators. Their dark metal bodies blocked the stars, casting long shadows over the alien girl and the human. The alien girl's breathing became shallow. Her fingers tightened around the human's arm, as if letting go would make everything disappear again. Daniel stayed still. He did not pull away. He did not look afraid. Instead, he turned slightly toward her and spoke in a low voice. Tell me your name, he said. She hesitated. In my world, she replied, a name is only given to those who are worthy. Daniel frowned. Then what do I call you? She looked down at the floor of the tower. The cold surface reflected her glowing lines, weak and uneven. I was called Salif, she said softly. Before they erased me, Daniel repeated it. Salif. Hearing her name spoken again made her chest ache. It felt like a door opening inside her, one she had sealed long ago. The ships lowered further. A deep voice echoed from above. Salif. Of the Corexian race, the voice announced. You are classified as a failed subject. Salif flinched. Daniel's jaw tightened. The voice continued. State your final defense. Salif laughed bitterly. There is no defense, she whispered. There never is. Daniel leaned closer to her. Then tell me, he said. Why did they call you a failure? Her eyes filled with tears again, but this time she did not hide them. I was born wrong, she said. My race values power, speed, control. Children are tested from a young age. She swallowed. I trained every day. I pushed my body until it broke. Still, I was slower, weaker. I could not activate my full energy form. Images flashed through her mind-cold training halls, watching others succeed, hearing her name spoken. With disappointment, my parents stopped looking at me, she continued. My instructors stopped correcting me. They already knew the result. Daniel listened in silence. The final trial was combat, Salith said. I was paired with someone younger than me. Her voice cracked. She defeated me in seconds. The memory burned. The crowd turned away, she whispered. They did not even boo. I was not worth the sound. The ships hummed above them. I was sent to the lower sectors, Salith said. No rank, no future, just waiting. Until my existence became inconvenient. Daniel clenched his fists. So you came here, he said gently. She nodded. I wanted to choose my own ending. That was the last thing they could not take from me. The enforcement voice spoke again. Human, step away. This does not concern you. Daniel looked up. She is a person, he said firmly. That concerns. May. There was a pause. Your species values weakness, the voice replied. IT will be your downfall. Daniel almost smiled. Weakness, he said, is not the same as worth. Salith looked at him in surprise. No one has ever said that, she whispered. Daniel turned to her. Salith, look at me. She did. You survived, he said. You trained. You failed. You felt pain, and you are still here. That is not enough, she said. It is for humans, he replied. The ships adjusted position. Weapons did not activate, but the threat was clear. Final warning, the voice said. Salith felt the edge calling to her again. The old voice inside her whispered that this would be easier. Quieter. Daniel noticed her hesitation. He stepped directly in front of her now. If you jump, he said calmly, they win. Her eyes widened. They decided your value, he continued. They decided your ending. Jumping only proves them right. Her body shook. Then what do I do? She asked. Daniel answered without hesitation. Live. The word echoed inside. Her live. For the first time. The thought did not feel heavy. The enforcement ships waited. Salith took a slow step forward away from the edge. Then another. Her glowing lines brightened slightly. Reacting to her choice. The ships reacted immediately. Subject showing signs of stability. The voice reported. Daniel exhaled. Salith looked up at him. I don't know who I am without their rules. Daniel smiled softly. Then you get to decide. The ships began to retreat slightly, reassessing. But Daniel knew this was not over. He looked at the sky, his expression serious. They will come again, he said. And next time, they will test more than your will. Salith nodded. For the first time in her life, she was afraid not of dying but of living, and strangely, she wanted to try. The enforcement ships did not leave. They only moved back a little, hovering in the dark sky like beasts waiting for the right moment to strike. Their lights scanned the tower again and again, as if searching for a mistake. Salith could feel it. The judgment. Her people never stopped watching, never stopped measuring worth. She stood beside Daniel now, no longer at the edge, but her legs still felt weak. Every sound made her flinch. Every second felt borrowed. They are deciding, she whispered. Daniel nodded. Yes, what happens? If they decide I am still a failure? She asked. Daniel did not answer right away. He looked at the ships, then at the city below. His face was calm, but his eyes carried something heavy. Experience. Then they will try to take you, he sighed. Salith's hands curled into fists. And you? I will not step aside, Daniel replied. She looked at him sharply. Why would you risk your life for me? Daniel let out a slow breath. Because once, someone asked me the same question. Before she could ask more, deep mechanical voice returned. Salith, of the Corexian race, it said. You have been given time, present proof of value, or submit to removal. Salith's heart dropped. Proof of value. Those words haunted her entire life. There is no proof, she whispered. I have none. Daniel stepped forward, placing himself clearly between her and the sky. I will speak, he said. The voice paused. Human input is irrelevant. Daniel raised his head. His voice was not loud, but it carried. Then you should not be afraid to listen. The ships shifted slightly. Proceed, the voice said. Daniel turned his head just enough to look at Salith. Trust me, he said. She nodded slowly. Daniel faced the ships. Your system measures worth by strength, he said. Power, speed, control. Correct, the voice replied. And when someone fails, Daniel continued, you erase them. Correct. Daniel clenched his jaw. On Earth, he said, we used to think the same way. Salith's eyes widened. But we learned something, Daniel continued. If you erase every failure, you erase every chance to grow. The ships were silent. You see weakness, Daniel said. Humans see potential. Potential is unmeasurable. The voice responded. Daniel smiled slightly. So is courage. Salith felt something stir inside her chest. The ships scanned Daniel more intensely. Humans are a low-threat species, the voice said. You should not exist at this level. Daniel nodded. We hear that a lot. Then his tone changed. It became sharper, yet humans survived plagues, wars, broken worlds, and extinction-level events, he said. We are still here. Salith looked at him in awe. We are not strong, Daniel admitted. But we adapt. We endure. We refuse to give up. The ships hesitated. You speak of emotion, the voice said. Emotion is a flaw. Daniel shook his head. Emotion is why we stand back up. Salith felt her glowing lines pulse brighter. The voice turned back to her. Salith, do you accept human claim of worth? Her throat tightened. All her life, she waited for others to decide her value. Now, the choice was hers. She took a shaky breath. I accept, she said. But not because he speaks for me. The ships paused. Salith stepped forward, standing beside Daniel, not behind him. I accept because I am still alive, she continued. Because I chose not to jump. Her voice grew steadier. I failed your trials, she said. But I did not fail life. The wind howled around them. Daniel glanced at her. Surprised and proud. The ships scanned her again. Energy output increasing, the system reported. Subject showing anomalous response. Salith looked down at her hands. Her glowing lines were brighter than ever before. I don't know what I will become, she said. But I will decide it myself. The ships fell silent. Then, temporary stay granted, the voice said. Subject under observation. Salith's knees almost gave out. Daniel steadied her without touching, ready if she fell. They're letting me live, she whispered. For now, Daniel said. The ship slowly pulled back, disappearing into the clouds. The tower fell quiet again. Salith turned to Daniel. You challenged them, he nodded. They fear what they don't understand. And what do they not understand? She asked. Daniel looked out at the stars. Humans, he said. And what happens when we decide something matters? Salith followed his gaze for the first time. The galaxy did not feel like a cage. It felt like a question, and she was finally allowed to answer. The tower was silent after the ships disappeared. Too silent. Salith stood still, her body tense, waiting for something to go wrong. In her experience, mercy never lasted long. It was only a delay before punishment returned stronger. They said, temporary, she whispered. That means they will come back. Daniel nodded slowly. Yes, and next time they will not just watch. Salith looked at him. Then, why do I feel like something has changed? Daniel looked up at the sky. The clouds moved slowly, revealing distant stars. Because it has, he said. You made them hesitate. That idea felt strange to her. Her people never hesitated. They judged. They removed. They moved on. Why? She asked. Why did they stop? Daniel looked back at her. Because systems don't like what they cannot explain. Far above them, unseen by Salith, signals moved through space. Reports were sent. Data was shared. A single question spread through alien networks. Why did the humans speak, and the subject survive? Salith did not know this yet. She only knew her legs were shaking. Daniel noticed. Sit, he said gently, pointing to the flat surface near the tower wall. She obeyed without thinking. Her body lowered slowly, like she feared gravity itself might betray her again. Daniel sat nearby, keeping a respectful distance. I feel empty, she admitted. Like I stepped away from death. But I don't know what comes next. Daniel nodded. That's normal. She looked at him in confusion. Normal? Yes, he said. Living is confusing. That made her release a small surprised sound, not quite laughter, but close. Humans are strange, she said. Daniel smiled. We survive by being strange. The glow lines on Salith's arms slowly dimmed, then stabilized. Her body was calming, but her mind was racing. They will test me again, she said. Harder this time. They will, Daniel agreed. She looked at him. And you? I will still be here, he said. Her eyes widened. Why stay? You already changed the outcome. Daniel looked thoughtful. Because change needs protection. Before she could reply, A soft alert sounded from Daniel's wrist device. He raised it and frowned. What is it? Salith asked. Attention, Daniel replied. Human channels? Channels? Observers, he said simply. Salith felt a chill. Who is watching? Daniel hesitated. Other species. Other humans. Her heart skipped. The whole galaxy? Not yet, he said, but it has started. Salith stood up slowly. Because of me? Because of what you represent, Daniel corrected. She wrapped her arms around herself. A failure? Daniel shook his head. A question. That word again. Below them, the city lights shifted. Transport lanes changed direction. Security levels adjusted. Subtle signs, but to trained eyes it was clear. The system was reacting. What happens when they ask that question? Salith asked. Daniel's voice grew serious. Some will want answers. Others will want control. And the Correxian Council? She asked. Daniel looked toward the central spire in the distance. They will not like uncertainty. As if summoned by his words, a new signal cut through the air. Not loud. Not threatening. Official. A projection appeared between them, glowing. White and sharp. Salith, the voice said. You are ordered to report for re-evaluation. Salith froze. Her instincts screamed again. Daniel stood. She doesn't go alone, he said firmly. The voice paused. Human presence is not required. Daniel crossed his arms. Then you should not require her presence either. The projection flickered. Salith looked at Daniel, fear rising. This is where it ends, isn't it? Daniel shook his head. No, this is where it becomes public. He turned to her. They want to see if you still bend. She swallowed. What if I can't stand? Daniel met her eyes. Then I stand with you. The projection spoke again. Report time immediate. Salith took a deep breath. For the first time in her life, she did not feel alone when facing judgment. I will go, she said. Daniel nodded. Good. As they moved toward the transport platform, unseen eyes across the galaxy watched the data feed. A weak alien who chose life, human who refused to submit, and a system that had just learned something dangerous, that humans do not need permission to care, and once they do not stop. The transport chamber was cold and bright. White light filled the wide room, reflecting off smooth metal walls. Salith stood in the center, her hands at her sides, trying to keep her breathing slow. Daniel stood beside her, calm but alert. Around them, tall alien figures watched from raised platforms. Correxian Council members. Their eyes glowed with cold focus. Data screens floated in the air, showing Salith's records. Most of them were red. Subject Salith. A deep voice echoed. You were marked for removal. Salith lowered her head. Yes. You failed all primary strength metrics. Another voice added. Double quotes. Yes. You showed emotional instability. Salith's hands shook slightly. Yes. Silence followed. Then one council member turned its gaze toward Daniel. Human, it said. You disrupted a final process. Daniel nodded. I did. HFY? Daniel did not hesitate. Because the process was wrong. A ripple of quiet movement passed through the chamber. Define wrong, the council demanded. Daniel looked around the room. He saw power, order, control, and fear, hidden behind rules. Your system removes weakness, Daniel said. But it also removes resilience. The council reacted instantly. Resilience is not a measured value. Daniel smiled slightly. That's why you don't understand humans. A large screen activated above them. Historical data began to scroll human history, pulled from open galactic records, wars, plagues, collapsing cities, starving worlds. The council watched. This is primitive chaos, one voice said. Yes, Daniel agreed. And we survived. All of it. The screen shifted. Extinction events. Planetary disasters. Failed colonies. You should have collapsed, the council stated. Daniel's voice hardened. We did collapse, he said. Over and over again. Salith looked at the screen, stunned, but every time Daniel continued, we rebuilt. The screen showed humans standing in ruins helping each other, carrying the wounded, teaching children in broken cities. We are not strong, Daniel said. We break easily. The council leaned forward. Then why do you continue? Daniel turned and looked at Salith. Because someone always chooses to stand when others fall. Salith felt her chest tighten. One council member focused on her. This human claims you have value. Provide evidence. Salith froze. Daniel stepped back slightly. This time, he said softly, you speak. Salith swallowed. I failed your trials, she said. But I endured them. The council was silent. I was rejected, she continued. But I am still alive. Her glowing lines brightened again. I stood at the edge, she said, her voice steady now. And I chose not to jump. The council analyzed her energy output. Subject showing non-standard stability. The system reported. The council turned back to Daniel. You taught her this? Daniel shook his head. No, I reminded her. A long pause filled the chamber. Then, something unexpected happened. The council did not speak. Instead, they listened. Your species values failure, one voice said slowly. Daniel nodded. We learn from it. Your species protects the weak. Yes. This is inefficient, Daniel smiled. It's why we're still here. The chamber lights dimmed slightly. Salith, the council said. You will not be removed. Salith's knees weakened. You will be classified as a human protected subject. Murmurs spread through the chamber. This had never happened before. Daniel closed his eyes for a moment, exhaling slowly. However, the council continued. Human involvement will be monitored. Daniel opened his eyes. We're used to that. The council's gaze sharpened. You are not weak, it said. You are unpredictable. Daniel nodded. That scares people. Yes, the council admitted. The session ended. As they walked out of the chamber, Salith looked at Daniel, her voice barely a whisper. You changed everything. Daniel shook his head. No, he met her eyes. You did. Behind them, signals spread through the galaxy. A failed alien survived judgment. A human challenged a system, and the galaxy learned a truth it could not ignore. Humans were never weak. They were patient. The stars looked different now. Salith noticed it as she stood on the open balcony of the human habitat station. The glass wall before her showed space in its endless beauty, quiet, wide, and full of light. Once, this same view would have made her feel small. Now it made her feel alive. Behind her, the station moved with soft human sounds, voices, footsteps, laughter, not loud, not cruel, just real. She rested her hand against the glass. She was still alive. That thought no longer felt strange. Daniel stood a few steps away, speaking with a human officer. They spoke calmly, as if nothing important had happened. As if a single choice had not shaken an entire system. Salith watched him quietly. The galaxy had called her a failure. The galaxy had been wrong. Salith. She turned. Daniel stood beside her now, holding two small cups. He handed one to her. What is this? She asked. Tea, he said. Humans drink it when things finally slow down. She took it carefully and tasted it. Warm, bitter, comforting. I don't know what I am now, she said. Daniel leaned against the wall. That's okay. My people erased me, she continued. I don't belong to them. You don't need to, Daniel replied. She looked at him. And humans? Daniel smiled softly. We don't erase people. She felt something tighten in her chest again, but this time it did not hurt. Across the station, screens activated. News feeds from different species began to play. Salith's name appeared again and again. Failed subject survives human intervention. Raises questions correction system under REVIEW. The galaxy was talking. They are watching. Salith said. Yes, Daniel answered. And listening. She lowered her gaze. I am afraid. Daniel nodded. That means you care. She looked back at the stars. What if I fail again? Daniel did not answer right away. Then he said, then you fail forward. She looked at him in confusion. Humans fall, he explained. A lot. The trick is not staying down. Salith thought of the tower, the edge, the wind. She thought of the moment she stepped back. I didn't know living could feel like this, she said. Like what? Daniel asked. Unfinished. She replied. Daniel smiled. That's the best kind. A soft chime echoed through the station. A message appeared in the air. Salith status update classification. Free subject path. Self-determined. Her breath caught. They released me, she whispered. Daniel nodded. They couldn't justify control anymore. She turned to him. Because of you. No, Daniel corrected gently. Because you chose to live in front of witnesses. Salith felt her glowing. Lines pulse, not brighter, not stronger, but steadier than ever before. She was not powerful. She was real. What will you do now? Daniel asked. She thought carefully. I want to learn, she said. Not to be strong, not to be perfect. She looked at him. I want to help others who stand where I stood. Daniel's eyes softened. That's a very human answer. She tilted her head. Is that bad? No, he said. It's dangerous. She smiled slightly. In the days that followed, the galaxy changed slowly, but clearly. Other failed subjects were questioned instead of erased. Systems hesitated. Councils argued. Humans were invited not as rulers, not as soldiers, but as witnesses, because humans remembered what it felt like to be small, and they never forgot. Those left behind. Salith became something new, not a warrior, not a symbol, a voice. She spoke to those the galaxy ignored. She stood with those marked as weak. And every time she spoke, she remembered a human voice behind her on a dark tower. Please don't jump. One night, she returned to that tower, not to stand on the edge but to look at the city below and breathe. Daniel stood beside her. You came back, he said. Yes, she replied. To prove something to myself. She looked at the stars one last time. I was ready to end it all. She said softly. But words stopped me. Daniel nodded. Words can save lives. Salith smiled. So can people who refuse to walk away. Above them, the galaxy continued to watch. And for the first time in its long history, it learned that the strongest force was not power. It was the choice to live.